Hello everybody, it's Sean O'Connell, the Managing Director here at CinemaBlend, and as you all know by now, I'm working my way through every single episode of Game of Thrones before we get to the beginning of Season 8, and I am all the way up to Season 5, Episode 8, called Hardhome. And look, I've been knocking this season quite a bit, as one where just like not a lot of stuff happens, and we're in the back half now. We have 3 episodes left in this season. I'm really hoping that things start to pick up, because it's not that like things haven't happened. There are things that have taken place over the course of the season. Arya has been training. Sansa got married to Ramsay. Jon just began his march with the wildlings to Hardhome, which I believe is where he's heading to. Stannis is marching through the snow, and, you know, like I said, things are going on. The subplot in Dorne, Tyrion is now in front of Khaleesi as a gift. So things have happened, right? But this has not been one of the stronger seasons, and so Game of Thrones now has 3 episodes left to try and redeem itself. But I think coming after seasons 3 and 4, which were strong, this was just a lot to live up to, and so we'll see where we're at. So anyway, well, let's dive right into Season 5, Episode 8, Hardhome. Keep up with all of these reaction videos that we're doing here at CinemaBlend. The comments, as you'll see, left by my editors as I work my way through these episodes are brilliant, hysterically funny. Great reason to follow along with me and subscribe is their humor. And so let's see what they have to say, what we all have to say, about Episode 8 of Season 5, Hardhome. Directed by Miguel. He's done most of the episodes this season, or a lot of episodes this season, and they've not been good.
If you are Tyrion Lannister, why shouldn't I kill you?
You want revenge against the Lannisters? I killed my mother. I killed my father. I am the greatest Lannister killer of our time.
So I should welcome you into my service because you murdered members of your own family.
Your Grace, we have only just met. It's too soon to know if you deserve my service.
When
I was a young man, I heard a story about a baby born during the worst storm in living memory. She had no wealth, no lands, no army, only a name, and a handful of supporters, most of whom probably thought they could use that name to benefit themselves. They kept her alive, moving her from place to place, often hours ahead of the men who'd been sent to kill her. She was eventually sold off to some warlord on the edge of the world, and that appeared to be that. And then, a few years later, most well-informed person I knew told me that this girl without wealth, lands, or armies had somehow acquired all 3 in a very short span of time, along with 3 dragons. He thought she was our best, last chance to build a better world. Thought you were worth meeting at the very least.
And why are you worth meeting?
Because you cannot build a better world on your own. You have no one at your side who understands the land you want to rule.
So you want to advise me?
I want you to
Very
advise
well.
her.
What would you have me do with him? I swore I would kill him if he ever returned.
Whomever Ser Jorah was when he started informing on you, he is no longer that man. He worships you. He is in love with you, I think. But he did not trust you with the truth. Did not trust that you would be wise enough to forgive him.
So I should kill him.
A ruler who kills those devoted to her is not a ruler who inspires devotion. And you're going to need to inspire devotion, a lot of it, if you're ever going to rule across the narrow sea. But you cannot have him by your side when you do.
Remove Ser Jorah from the city.
Sorry, Jorah. Strike 2. Oh, I totally forgot he had that. Don't worry, Jorah, you're not going to last long anyway. A stone man you shall be in time.
Confess.
My son.
Let me speak to you. Confess. I meant it. My face will be the last thing you see before...
My name is Lana. I'm an orphan. It took a while, but I finally saved enough to buy myself an Oyster cart. I usually see Lara, my first customer of the day, on her way home. Then, I turn left onto Moonsinger Lane. Turn left onto Ragman Lane, where I do most of my trade.
Lana is very impressive. She will make a fine servant for the many-faced god. She will no longer turn left onto Ragman Lane. She will turn right and go to Ragman Harbor.
What will she do there?
She will see.
See what?
If you knew what she would see, there would be no reason to send her.
Of all the places in this show, I would really love to go to Bravos. I think I can make it in Bravos.
The man is a gambler. A girl named Lana will return to the docks. She will watch the gambler. She will come to know as much about him as she knows about herself.
And then what?
A gift for the thin man.
What is your deal?
The trial will take place soon.
The charges?
Fornication, treason, incest, the murder of King Robert.
All lies.
Of course, Your Grace. Grand Maester Pycelle has summoned your uncle Kevin back from Casterly Rock to serve as hand of the king.
Tell him I need to speak to him.
I implored him to visit you, but he would not.
What about my son, the king? You need to talk to my son and tell him to come and see me. Come and see his mother.
I tried, Your Grace. He wouldn't see me. He won't see anyone.
I can't stay.
There is a way out.
Confess to the High Sparrow. I won't. I made him. I rose him up from nothing. I will not kneel before some barefooted common and beg his forgiveness.
Why, Theon?
Not Theon.
Why did you tell him, Reek?
I was helping you. You wanted to escape. There is no escape. Theon Greyjoy tried to escape. He hunted him and caught him and strapped him to a cross and cut away piece after piece until there was no Theon left.
Good.
Oh, Sansa. Savage.
If it weren't for you, I'd still have a family.
I deserved everything.
That's
I
debatable.
deserved to be Reek, turned on Robb, captured Winterfell, killed those boys.
They weren't those boys. They were Bran and Rickon. They were your brothers. You've known them since they were born.
They weren't. They were only...
Only what?
Tell him.
Tell me.
I can't, not unless the master says...
Tell me they weren't what?
They weren't.
Tell me why Bran and Rickon should be gone while you still breathe the air. Tell me to my face, Theon. Tell me that they weren't your brothers.
They weren't Bran and Rickon. I couldn't find them. It was too far, boys. I killed them and burned them so no one would know.
Finally, a glimmer of hope for Sansa.
Do you know where they went, Bran and Rickon?
I can't talk to you anymore.
Theon, you have to tell me. Do you have any idea where they...
Not Theon! Reek!
Where's Bran been this entire season?
We are more prepared for a siege than they could ever be. All we have to do is wait for them to freeze, starve, and mutiny. You disagree?
I think you're missing an opportunity to show the people of the North how House Bolton treats southern invaders.
A smart commander does not abandon a defensive advantage. As long as we stay behind these walls, they can't touch us. Not to mention that the snow is so deep we couldn't get an army through to engage them even if we wanted to.
I don't need an army. I need 20 good men.
This is fascinating. After all this
So have
time,
you decided yet?
seeing these
Whether
two.
I'm worthy of your service?
Have you decided yet whether you're going to have me killed?
It's probably my safest option.
I could see why you would think so. It's what your father would have done.
And what would your father have done?
My father, who publicly sentenced me to death. I'd say his thoughts on having me killed were abundantly clear.
Is that why you killed him?
Someday, if you decide not to execute me, I'll tell you all about why I killed my father. And on that day, should it ever come, we'll need more wine than this.
I know what my father was. What he did. I know the Mad King earned his name.
So, here we sit, two terrible children of two terrible fathers.
I'm terrible.
I've heard stories.
Why did you travel to the far side of the world to meet someone terrible?
To see if you were the right kind of terrible.
Which kind is that?
The kind that prevents your people from being even more so.
Well, I did reopen the fighting pits. Under my rule, murder will once again become entertainment.
Yes, that was wise. And you agreed to marry someone you loathe for the greater good. Very impressive. My own sister married someone she loathed as well. Though not by choice, and certainly not for the greater good, God forbid. She ended up having him killed.
Perhaps it won't come to that.
It's not impossible that Varys was right about you after all.
Varys? King Robert's spy master?
He's the one who convinced me to come find you.
For 20 years, the Spider oversaw the campaign to find and kill me.
He did what he had to do to survive. He did a lot of other things as well, things he didn't have to do. I suspect he's the main reason you weren't slaughtered in your crib.
But you trust him?
Yes, oddly. He may be the only person in the world I trust, except my brother.
The brother who killed my father?
That's the one. I'd given up on life until Varys convinced me you might be worth living for. You chop off my head, well, my final days were interesting.
I'm not going to kill you. You're going to advise me. While you can still speak in complete sentences.
Advise you on what?
How to get what I want.
The Iron Throne. Perhaps you should try wanting something else.
If I want jokes, I'll get myself a proper fool.
I'm not entirely joking. There's more to the world than Westeros, after all. How many hundreds of thousands of lives have you changed for the better here? Perhaps this is where you belong, where you can do the most good. When you get back to your home, who supports you?
The common people.
Let's be generous and assume that's going to happen. Here in Slaver's Bay, you had the support of the common people, and only the common people. What was that like? House Targaryen is gone. Not a single person who shares your blood is alive to support you. The Starks are gone as well. The remaining members of House Lannister will never back you, not ever. Stannis Baratheon won't back you either. That leaves the Tyrells. Not impossible, not enough.
Lannister, Targaryen, Baratheon, Stark, Tyrell. They're all just spokes on a wheel. This one's on top, then that one's on top, and on it spins, crushing those on the ground.
It's a beautiful dream. Stopping the wheel. You're not the first person who's ever dreamt it.
I'm not going to stop the wheel. I'm going to break the wheel.
You said whoever wins will fight at the Great Pit in front of the Queen. Let me fight for her, and I belong to you.
This seems like a lost cause.
And all I do is sit here, imagining hideous ways for you to die.
Oh my god, Cersei. How far you've fallen.